Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into a text that's, well, it's as ancient as it is astonishing, a poetic, almost breathtaking journey right into the heart of love, desire, and intimacy.
Hmm.
The material we've received for this deep dive, it sort of strips away centuries of, polite interpretations.
Right.
And it reveals this raw, powerful depiction of connection between two lovers. It's just full of vibrant imagery that speaks not just to the human heart, but really to the essence of spiritual yearning, too. It challenges a lot of our modern assumptions.
What's truly striking here, I think, is how this ancient text, in its, well, unashamed celebration of human passion, offers these profound insights, not just into marital intimacy, but also into our spiritual yearning for a relationship with the divine.
Yeah.
It invites us to consider a deeper, maybe a more passionate connection with God. This text itself, it almost serves as a foundational blueprint, you could say, like a divine instruction manual for understanding what true, uninhibited love looks like, both between people and, between our souls and the Creator.
And our mission for this deep dive, it's kind of threefold. First, to explore the rich symbolism of sexual union and marriage, particularly how it vividly describes the actual physical body of the two lovers.
Okay.
Second, to uncover how this very earthly intimacy beautifully mirrors our hunger, our thirst, our passion for God the Father and for Jesus Christ. And finally, we really need to confront a significant issue. Why is this vital topic so often left unspoken in many religious gatherings? We'll be looking at this from all angles: spiritual, mental, psychological, theological, social, pacisity, all drawn directly from the insights in our sources. It's about pulling back the veil, if you will, on a topic that's too long been shrouded in discomfort, maybe even shame.
And that immediately raises a crucial question, doesn't it? If this profound aspect of human experience is designed by God, one source calls him an engineer of intimacy, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I like that.
If he designed it, why is there such reluctance, sometimes even an active avoidance, to discuss it openly in spiritual communities?
Yeah.
We'll see how the text itself, in its, unabashed celebration, provides the very framework for this essential conversation. It challenges us to embrace the fullness of God's design for human connection.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. To truly appreciate the astonishing depth of this text, we need to begin where the lover does, with this uninhibited, almost reverent admiration for the beloved's physical beauty.
Right.
The descriptions aren't just vivid, they're sensuous. They draw on this rich nature imagery to convey a captivating allure that feels both earthly and somehow divine. It's like an inventory of her body, lingering on each feature with a hunger that's both poetic and, let's be honest, unmistakably carnal.
Indeed. And the lover's gaze, it travels. It starts with her eyes, described as doves. Now, this isn't merely a polite compliment about their beauty,
No.
In the ancient Near East, doves were symbols of purity, yes, but also faithfulness and tender innocence. So her eyes aren't just pretty, they're captivating in their sort of guilelessness and steady devotion. They hint at this peaceful, captivating gaze that just draws him in. It's a very intentional, gentle opening to this intimate exploration of her form.
And from that captivating gaze, his attention moves upwards, drawn to the vibrant cascade of her hair. It's likened to a flock of goats frisking down the slopes of Gilead. Now, okay, to our modern ears, goats in Gilead might sound a bit rustic, maybe.
A little, perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, but our sources really highlight a profound significance here. Gilead was known as this fertile, rugged region, known for its strong, dark, active goats. So her hair is described as not neat or restrained, but flowing and alive.
Right, that's the key.
This isn't about controlled, manicured beauty. It's this powerful symbol of untamed sensuality, wildness, abundance. It speaks to a sexual freedom and allure that's vibrantly alive, celebrating a woman's glory in its most natural, uninhibited state. This image, it just radically challenges any idea that spiritual love demands suppressing natural allure. Instead, it suggests beauty in this context is about wild, untamed vibrancy.
And what's fascinating here is how these descriptions, they really transcend mere politeness. They are deeply infused with an erotic resonance, actively inviting touch, scent, pleasure. The imagery is designed not just to describe, but really to stir the senses and arouse desire. It shows that this beauty is meant to be intimately experienced, not just passively observed from afar. It's about a beauty that promises a rich sensory encounter.
And it continues, down to her teeth. described as white as shorn sheep that came up from the washing. Again, this isn't just about perfect alignment or superficial whiteness.
No, there's more there.
It implies a meticulous level of hygiene and care, emphasizing their pure color and perfect matching, with not one missing. Our sources connect this to the idea of a truly inviting, radiant smile, a smile so captivating, as some ancient commentators apparently recount, it could entirely change a person's world. It's an explicit acknowledgement that cleanliness and deliberate care for one's body are actually integral components of attraction. They contribute significantly to the desire between partners.
This leads us to ponder, doesn't it? How does such meticulous attention to physical details, especially things like hygiene, within a sacred text, how does that challenge the idea that admiration is just superficial?
Right.
It suggests that the physical body, as God's own exquisite creation, is meant to be appreciated and celebrated in its entirety, down to the smallest detail, especially within the sacred bond of marriage. It's a holistic appreciation, recognizing that true beauty includes both the outward appearance and the diligent care shown to it.
Then come the lips. Described as a scarlet ribbon, the mouth lovely and inviting. Our sources describe them as jewel red, elegant and inviting, hinting at their delicate shape, their appealing color. And they carry this distinct erotic resonance, an invitation to erotic play. There's a fascinating note here connecting scarlet lips to being flushed with blood, a natural sign of arousal and vitality, which contrasts sharply with, say, modern lipstick, which often serves more as an emphasis of desire rather than a natural indication of it. The text points to this inherent vibrant beauty that signifies deep, unfeigned longing.
And one striking aspect here is the intentionality behind these descriptions. They're not just passive observations, they are active invitations to engage, to taste, to experience the beloved fully. This sets the stage for a relationship built on mutual desire and active participation, not just passive reception. It's an embrace of the body as a canvas for shared pleasure and connection.
And the cheeks, like pomegranate halves, lovely, delicious, soft, radiant, suggesting sweetness and allure, especially in close contact like kissing.
Yeah.
The pomegranate itself, a fruit bursting with all those numerous juicy jewel-like seeds.
Right, very symbolic.
It carried deep connotations in ancient cultures of fertility, abundance, and this delightful internal sweetness waiting to be discovered through intimate touch. So her cheeks symbolize this profound, delectable internal richness. Then the neck is described as stately as the Tower of David, jeweled with shields. This image speaks to upright posture, confident character, perhaps adorned with jewelry, becoming both an object of attention and intimate touch. It's about a woman who carries herself with grace, strength, confidence, making her not just beautiful but powerfully present, an object of deep admiration and yearning.
And a key takeaway emerges here, I think. The lover's detailed praise demonstrates the profound importance of expressing explicit admiration for a spouse physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
This isn't just superficial beauty talk.
No.
It's about seeing the beloved as altogether beautiful, without spot or flaw, which is actually a reflection of God's perfect accepting view of us. It's a comprehensive appreciation. It recognizes that true beauty encompasses both outward appearance and that inner radiance.
And then perhaps one of the most prominent features in this section, the breasts. Like twin fawns of a gazelle feeding among lilies. This imagery, it profoundly emphasizes softness, tenderness, desirability, and the thrill on touch.
Very evocative.
Our sources highlight they are seen not only as objects of erotic attraction, but also through what sounds like a sophisticated play on words as instruments of feeding.
Interesting duality.
Right. It acknowledges their dual purpose, providing nourishment and deeply satisfying intimacy.
Right.
And this is explicitly called out as a focal point of male attraction. Our sources directly quote, "Let the breast of your wife do what? Satisfy you all the days of your life." It's a very direct, very biblical affirmation of their role in marital satisfaction and lifelong delight.
And this leads us back to that question. How does this explicit, sacred celebration of the physical, within a spiritual text, challenge our modern discomfort, our squeamishness sometimes with expressing admiration and desire in marriage?
Yeah.
It really suggests a biblical precedent for open, unashamed appreciation of the spouse's body as an integral part of God's good design. This isn't just poetic flourish, it's foundational. It's a foundational element of healthy, God-honoring marital intimacy, inviting us to maybe shed societal inhibitions that aren't actually rooted in divine truth.
And here's where it truly gets compelling. The sources speak to the raw and powerful depiction of physical and emotional union, emphasizing that the desire described is not abstract, it is physical, urgent, and focused on the pleasures of the body. It's about more than just sight. It involves all the senses working together, heightening the experience. Our senses are, after all, incredibly powerful conduits for creating and intensifying desire.
Exactly. Just as God gave us senses to experience the vibrant world around us, taste, smell, touch, He designed them to enhance and deepen our intimate relationships. The anticipation isn't just mental or emotional, it's deeply sensory. It makes the entire experience all the more fulfilling and holistic. This is part of the design, not an accident.
Consider the sheer power of words in cultivating desire. Think about anticipating a big holiday meal, maybe Thanksgiving. When someone vividly describes it, we're going to have succulent roasted ham, perfectly seasoned turkey, creamy macaroni and cheese, and sweet candy yams.
Make me hungry just thinking about it.
Right. Those words alone, even before the smell hits you, build immense anticipation. Similarly, the lover's detailed, evocative words in this text, like, "Behold, thou art fair, my love," they aren't just statements. They are declarations designed to create immense hunger and anticipation in the beloved.
I see the parallel.
And this parallels how Jesus brings salvation not just through his actions, but through the spoken word, igniting within us a spiritual hunger, heightening our desire for him, making his presence feel palpable and yearned for.
And this verbal anticipation is profoundly amplified by the power of our senses.
Yeah.
You mentioned the holiday meal. Imagine stepping into a home where that meal is actually cooking.
Oh, yeah.
That immediate aroma instantly heightens your appetite. Similarly, the unique scents and pheromones of a spouse, often heightened during moments of closeness, increase hunger and appetite for intimacy. The aroma of love, which is explicitly mentioned in our sources.
That phrase itself is amazing.
Isn't it? It's unique to each couple, created by the very hormones and perspiration exchange during heightened moments. It's a deeply personal, primal connection, like a signature scent of shared desire.
And this emphasis on sensory engagement brings us directly to the concept of foreplay and anticipation. The detailed descriptions we just explored, they function precisely as a form of foreplay, this gradual, deliberate building of intimacy.
Which is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. And it stands in stark contrast to, say, quick one-night stands or purely lust-driven encounters that lack genuine love, intimacy, or that vital afterplay. The text models patience and mutual delight. It describes the intention to enjoy each other all evening, all night, taking time until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. This prolonged engagement is a profound difference. It shows that true love takes time to explore, savor, and deeply appreciate every facet of the beloved, moving far beyond mere physical release.
And if we truly internalize this intentionality of foreplay, this prolonged enjoyment, it is in itself an act of profound love. It's not just about a quick satisfaction of desire.
No.
It's about building connection, cultivating mutual pleasure, and forging a deeper, more enduring bond. The lover isn't merely consuming. He is savoring and appreciating every part of the beloved. Our sources even draw this fascinating parallel to how a priest might meticulously examine an animal for sacrifice, looking for perfection. Here, it's about a lover finding breathtaking beauty in every single part of their spouse. Even, suggests one source, finding ways to fix small imperfections with love and acceptance, much like a monkey grooming its mate, this deep, caring, attentive focus on the beloved's total being.
Okay, so as this intimacy deepens, our sources reveal the chapter culminates in the consummation of their love. And it's described through this series of evocative, powerful metaphors that speak of the depth, the richness, the exclusivity of their union. It's truly breathtaking how the language unfolds, painting this picture of complete surrender and mutual delight.
One striking aspect here is how the text just seamlessly transitions from admiration to invitation and then to ultimate fulfillment. It feels like a natural, divinely orchestrated progression of desire leading to intimate union, all within the sacred framework of a committed relationship.
The first metaphor that really encapsulates this intimate seclusion is the mountain of myrrh and hill of frankincense. Now, this isn't just about a scenic landscape.
No, much more than that.
It represents a deep desire for intimate seclusion and the intoxicating pleasure of their physical intimacy. Myrrh and frankincense, they were highly prized, fragrant resins used in perfumes, incense, known for their captivating, almost hypnotic aromas.
Right. Very precious.
So, to retreat to such a place signifies prioritizing dedicated time and sacred space for intimacy within marriage, away from the world's demands. This isn't a casual encounter. It's a profound, intentional withdrawal for exclusive shared delight. A time to enjoy each other all evening, all night, as one source described it. It almost sounds like that old love song lyric promising to last all night long.
And if we connect this to the broader tapestry, this imagery profoundly underscores that true intimacy requires intentionality. It requires protection and a conscious setting apart of time and space. It's a sacred space, a private world they enter together, signifying the unparalleled uniqueness and sanctity of their bond, away from the clamor of external life.
Then we encounter this exceptionally powerful imagery: a garden enclosed, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed. This is not an image of barrenness or inaccessibility.
No, quite the opposite, really.
Exactly. It's a profound statement of the bride's purity and exclusive devotion. It signifies that she holds her bounty, her sexuality, like a guarded treasure, exclusively for her rightful owner, her beloved. Our sources are unequivocal that this locked garden holds a clear sexual connotation. It is a vibrant source of life and pleasure, protected and reserved exclusively for the beloved. It's a powerful statement of commitment, of reserved passion until the right moment, when that spring is about to be open and that fountain is about to be let loose in uninhibited shared joy.
And this begs the inquiry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How does this unashamed celebration of sex, explicitly within the confines of marriage, starkly contrast with societal views? Views that often either dismiss sexuality as shameful or, conversely, exploit it outside its divinely designed boundaries.
Right.
The text powerfully posits marriage as the singular, divinely appointed container for such profound, beautiful, and exclusive intimacy.
And this garden, far from being empty, is described as an orchard bearing precious fruit with the rarest of perfumes. It's filled with pleasant fruits and this array of fragrant spices.
Abundance.
Yes. This symbolism vividly portrays the beauty, the abundance, the rich variety of her sexuality. The explicit references to nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, myrrh and aloes, perfume from every incense tree. It just saturates the scene with this overwhelming, intoxicating, sensual delight, appealing directly to taste and smell.
A full sensory experience.
Totally. Our sources emphasize the sensuous and delightful nature of this union, noting that these spices, when experienced fully, can actually tingle and bring forth a kaleidoscope of intense feelings: sweet, sour, bitter, maybe even hot, reflecting the full spectrum of pleasurable sensations within intimacy.
And one striking aspect here is the complete multisensory immersion depicted. It's not just a visual appreciation, but a tactile, olfactory, and gustatory experience. This holistic engagement reflects the totality of intimacy, where body and soul are just intertwined in this symphony of pleasure. It is a profound illustration that God designed intimacy to engage every fiber of our being.
And the climax of this section really is the invitation to eat its choicest fruits. The woman's invitation for her beloved to come into his garden and eat its choicest fruits. It's described as a bold and unequivocal call for sexual union.
No ambiguity there.
None at all. Our sources highlight this is not some vague spiritual metaphor, a softened suggestion. It is a direct, passionate call to sexual union, the pleasures of the marriage bed, to the mutual enjoyment of each other's bodies. The garden, initially described as hers, now becomes his garden, signifying this complete reciprocal physical and emotional merging. It's her active desire, her full, willing participation, sealing their exclusive bond.
And if we consider the broader implications, the imagery of the garden enclosed, and this mutual invitation powerfully emphasizes the sanctity and exclusivity of marital love. It's presented as a precious gift from God to be cherished and protected. The mutual giving and receiving is not just crucial, but absolutely essential for a truly fulfilling, God-honoring sexual relationship. It's a partnership in pleasure, designed for the delight of both.
This depiction of intimacy, it's not merely beautiful, it serves as a profound model for how spouses should engage. Our sources reveal this detailed appreciation of the spouse's body, even suggesting the husband examining the garments as they're removed.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, taking time to savor the unique scent that forms, creating a distinctive aroma about themselves. This points to the profound idea that God is the engineer of the intimacy between a husband and a wife, having woven this intricate design into our very being.
That engineer idea again. I like it.
Me too. And the pomegranate analogy, where one takes the little seeds out bit by bit, suggests taking intentional time and enjoying each individual part, savoring every moment, transforming the experience into a truly mindful and pleasurable fruit of sexuality. This isn't a rushed act. It's a patient, deliberate savoring of every aspect of the beloved.
And this deep appreciation extends to every sensory detail mentioned. The source material notes how the tingling spices symbolize the intensity of feeling, the heightened sensations experienced when all senses are engaged. This level of granular detail profoundly confirms that God's design for intimacy is rich, complex, and deeply pleasurable, an experience meant to be explored with unhurried delight.
And the imagery continues with a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters, and streams from Lebanon. Now, this isn't poetic ambiguity.
Pretty direct, actually.
Very direct. This imagery explicitly refers to the lubricant and moist and wet experience of intimacy, further emphasizing its natural design and the intrinsic pleasure God embedded within it. It leaves absolutely no room for doubt about the raw, beautiful physical reality being celebrated as a gift.
And what's truly compelling here is how the text fearlessly uses these beautiful natural metaphors to describe the most intimate physical realities. It validates them as part of God's good creation. Rather than something to be hidden or shamed or considered crude, it elevates the physical to a sacred act.
And it culminates with the wife's voice, her act of participation reaching its crescendo, her concluding invitation. Awake, O north wind, blow upon my garden, that the spices thereof may flow out. Let my beloved come into his garden and eat his pleasant fruits. So powerful. It signals her active participation and deep desire for this mutual delight. It's an explicit invitation for the motion of the husband to come in, for the flow to go on. It's direct, it's beautiful, and it's a powerful statement of female agency and desire in this sacred dance. This really is the Song of Songs because it paints the perfect, unvarnished picture of what God intended for intimacy.
Indeed. And that active invitation from the woman, it reinforces the idea of mutual desire, shared initiative, and co-creation in intimacy. It's a reciprocal relationship where both partners are fully invested in giving and receiving pleasure, reflecting this divine dance of love and surrender.
So we've unpacked this intense physical celebration of marital love, revealing its raw beauty and intentional design. But here's where this ancient text truly transcends its immediate context and becomes, well, even more profound. Our sources reveal that beyond this marital context, this chapter is also interpreted as a powerful allegory, a sacred lens for understanding our relationship with God and Jesus.
Absolutely. This rich human imagery serves as a powerful allegory for the intimate relationship between Christ and the church, or equally, between God and the individual believer. It offers a profound understanding of the spiritual realm through the most vivid and relatable language imaginable, human sexuality.
Wow.
It's a reflection, really, showing that the deepest human connections are designed to point us towards the divine, illuminating God's own passionate pursuit of us.
It's a truly remarkable parallel. Just as the lover expresses such passionate, detailed admiration for his beloved, Christ's love for us is described as deep, personal, and profoundly unconditional. He sees us as altogether beautiful, without spot or flaw, just as the lover sees no spot in his beloved.
That connection is vital.
It speaks to a divine love that is completely accepting, affirming, whole, recognizing our inherent worth despite our imperfections, mirroring the intensity of that human adoration.
And what's fascinating here is how this intensely human intimacy becomes a profound divine lesson, not merely a reflection. Our passion for Christ, then, it's not just a duty or belief. It's designed to be visceral, an overwhelming response to his overwhelming love.
Yeah.
The bride's bold invitation to come into his garden becomes this compelling call for us to open our hearts to Christ, allowing him to enter and experience the pleasant fruits of our lives and devotion. It invites us into a spiritual relationship characterized by the same intimacy, vulnerability, and mutual delight found in the deepest human bonds.
And the spiritual yearning it evokes is just palpable. The longing and anticipation described between the human lovers, it mirrors precisely the spiritual yearning for deeper communion with the divine. The consummation of their earthly love reflects the profound spiritual unity experienced in a close, surrendered relationship with Christ. It's about more than just intellectual belief. It's about a deeply felt experiential connection, a spiritual intimacy that resonates through our very being.
Which compels us to consider, if human intimacy can be such a profound, vivid metaphor for divine love, why do we so often shy away from exploring its depths in spiritual contexts?
Right.
The locked garden, in this allegorical sense, can represent the church or the individual believer's devotion and faithfulness, reserving their deepest love and affection exclusively for Christ. It highlights the exclusivity, the purity, the sacred guarding of this spiritual bond, much like the commitment in marriage.
And this allegorical interpretation, it have incredibly deep historical roots. In Jewish tradition, for instance, the woman is understood as Israel and the man as God himself.
A long-standing interpretation.
Right. And the erotic pursuit within the text is therefore read as the profound, unfolding story of divine longing and covenant. The intensity of the language isn't sanitized. Rather, it's fully embraced as the most potent way to express the depth of God's fervent desire for his people and their corresponding longing for him. It's a portrayal of a passionate, wild, consuming love that holds nothing back.
And for Christian mysticism, the interpretation deepens even further. The bridegroom is Christ, and the bride is the church, or more intimately, the individual soul. The sexual imagery becomes the paramount metaphor for the soul's ecstatic union with the divine.
Ecstatic union. Powerful words.
Aren't they? Mystics like St. John of the Cross, in his monumental work, The Spiritual Canticle, did not shy away from the eroticism of the song. Not at all. Instead, he boldly used this overwhelming, consuming passion to describe the soul's arduous yet ultimately transformative and blissful journey towards union with God. He saw the intense longing and fulfillment of human love as the closest earthly parallel to the soul's profound, passionate yearning for the divine. He believed the human experience of love was a divinely placed pointer to the ultimate spiritual romance.
So, what does all of this mean for us today? The passion for God and for Jesus is vividly portrayed, made tangible through this erotic language. The very intensity of human desire is presented as a mirror for the depth of our spiritual yearning for the divine. Our sources are unequivocally clear. God values and meticulously designed intimacy, both physical within marriage and spiritual with himself, within the context of a committed and loving relationship.
Yes.
This sacred text refuses to separate the physical from the spiritual. It asserts that the act of human love is simultaneously a celebration of the body and a profound metaphor for the soul's deepest longing for the divine. It encourages us to appreciate and cherish both human and divine love as intertwined and equally sacred.
And one of the most powerful and perhaps challenging declarations from our sources is this: true love, whether human or divine, is not polite, restrained, or distant. It is wild, consuming, and deeply erotic, a fire that burns in the body and the soul alike.
Wow, that really hits hard. It does. It challenges any lingering notion that spiritual love is somehow sterile, unemotional, or devoid of passion. Instead, it forcefully implies that the most profound spiritual experiences are intended to be as intense, as all-encompassing, and as viscerally real as the most profound human intimacies.
Okay, so this deep dive has shown us an ancient sacred text that is, as we've said, unapologetically carnal, deeply intimate, and yet at the same time, this profound metaphor for passionate divine love. But here's the stark paradox, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. The elephant in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This very topic, celebrated so openly and beautifully within Scripture, is traditionally and quite frustratingly not openly talked about in many religious gatherings. It's like there's this beautiful, powerful truth hidden in plain sight, yet we collectively just shy away from it. Which brings us to a critical inquiry. Why this pervasive silence? Our sources highlight a significant and deeply problematic tendency within some religious communities, or indeed within society at large, to adopt one of two extreme stances regarding human intimacy. And both of these perspectives are ultimately distorting of God's beautiful and wholesome design.
Right. So the first stance is what our sources refer to as a prudish discomfort. This perspective often views marital intimacy as inherently wrong, maybe even something naughty and nasty.
Yeah, that kind of language.
Those who hold this view often believe it's not something that husbands and wives should discuss or be conversational about because they deem it inappropriate. And this mindset leads to a profound lack of guidance, a lack of comfort surrounding God's glorious design for sexual expression within marriage. It creates this space where faithful couples feel compelled to sort of hush their marital experiences, even though they are operating precisely within God's sanctioned design.
It's a real shame.
It is. Our sources explicitly articulate that Satan seeks to destroy what God made beautiful. And this silence makes people feel inferior or that they don't belong in that setting, especially when you contrast it with the often loud discussions around unbiblical sexual practices. This shame just stifles joy and understanding.
And one striking aspect here is the societal and sometimes religious pressure to either conform to this restrictive, shaming view or to swing violently to the opposite extreme. It creates this no-win situation for many, leaving them without a proper biblical framework for understanding and enjoying intimacy. They're caught between an often unhelpful silence and a world that offers harmful alternatives.
And then there's the other side, the second problematic stance, unbiblical license. This perspective operates on the premise that, well, there's nothing wrong with anything, leading to engagement in all sorts of activities. The sources explicitly state these are wrong and draw a stark contrast to the historical realities of temple prostitutes.
It's a necessary distinction.
Crucial. The profound problem, as our sources highlight, is that we seem to have more information and conversation about the wrong kind of intimacy and not nearly enough about the biblical aspect. When communities shy away from teaching what God instituted, it invariably leads to this vacuum that gets filled by distorted expressions like lust, incest, adultery, and fornication, creating widespread brokenness.
This raises a crucial question about the devastating consequences of this silence and this imbalanced teaching. Our sources emphatically stress the urgent need to find a balanced, truly biblical understanding. It's about navigating a middle path, not being so prudish that one thinks, oh, this is naughty, we shouldn't be talking about this.
Right.
But also not swinging to the extreme where one feels, well, I'm going to go out and do and say everything I can. The clear, liberating message from Scripture is that in the sacred boundaries of biblical marriage, the marriage bed is undefiled. It grants couples this profound freedom to explore and enjoy their intimacy without shame or reservation.
And this pervasive silence, or this distorted teaching, it has profound and far-reaching consequences, spiritual, mental, psychological, theological, social, that ripple through individuals, marriages, and society. Spiritually and theologically, when a topic meticulously designed and passionately celebrated by God himself is hidden or shamed,
It's a distortion.
it fundamentally distorts our understanding of his character, his gifts, his benevolent design for humanity. It paints this false picture of a God who's somehow uncomfortable with his own beautiful creation, when the very text we're exploring clearly demonstrates the exact opposite. The overwhelming emphasis, often on lust and unbiblical practices, then tragically obscures the true beauty, the sanctity, and the joy of what God originally created.
And mentally and psychologically, the impact is undeniably significant. Without proper God-centered teaching and open discussion, individuals entering marriage are often, as the sources say, going in blind.
Totally.
Leading to immense frustration, profound misunderstandings, and deeply unmet expectations. Our sources powerfully argue that if religious communities actively offered these types of messages or these type of studies, we wouldn't witness all these kinds of divorces and these record numbers of divorces. It's about truly understanding that God is the engineer of intimacy.
Yeah.
As one powerful analogy from our sources suggests, within biblical marriage, you can flip upside down, spin around, turn around, go fast, go slow, whatever you want to do, and you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
Much like a thrilling, expertly engineered roller coaster that is designed for maximum exhilaration within secure boundaries. But without God's design or outside of it, it's like an uninspected, dangerous ride where people inevitably get hurt.
That's a great analogy. And socially, the distortion of the very concept of love in modern society, where the phrase love is often deployed to justify unbiblical practices, further compounds the problem.
It muddies the waters.
Completely. The widespread lack of robust biblical teaching about intimacy leaves this gaping vacuum that is quickly filled by distorted worldly views, leading to people not being able to enjoy it in its right sense. This cultural shift, playing with words and redefining terms with almost political precision, further erodes the sanctity, the joy, and the profound beauty of God's original institution of marriage. It creates a confusing landscape where what is natural and beautiful within its divinely set boundaries becomes confusing or even perilous outside of them.
Which compels us to ask, how can we, as individuals and communities, bridge this gaping chasm? How can we empower individuals and couples with the profound knowledge and liberating freedom to celebrate marital intimacy as God intended? The solution begins with the foundational recognition that, as our sources so plainly state, the Bible really teaches us everything. It does. The Word of God is complete.
Amen to that.
This topic, this profound aspect of human experience, is a lesson. It's teachable. And indeed, it is a ministry in itself, something that religious communities should embrace, not shy away from.
And there's a powerful, often overlooked upside to fostering this kind of open biblical discussion. It actively encourages purity.
How so?
Our sources strongly suggest that openly discussing the inherent beauty, the profound fulfillment, and the joyous design of God-sanctioned marital intimacy may even allow people to have a greater desire to keep yourself until you get married. It presents a compelling, joyful, truly amazing alternative to casual or unfulfilling encounters. It gives young people something truly magnificent and worth waiting for, rather than entering marriage blind or burdened by past regrets.
That's a fascinating point. And what's truly intriguing here, too, is the concept of maturity and intimacy.
Hmm.
Just as there are, say, mature eaters who appreciate the intricate layers of a gourmet meal versus those who might settle for the simpler, more basic Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
So, too, the sources suggest, are there amateurs and mature spouses when it comes to intimacy? Understanding God's complete word on this topic profoundly helps couples become a mature spouse to your spouse, deepening their enjoyment and connection far beyond superficial experiences. It's about cultivating a sophisticated appreciation for the physical, emotional, and spiritual layers of intimacy that God designed.
And finally, this text reminds us that true intimacy, both human and divine, it's an ongoing journey. Love and passion in marriage aren't a destination. They're a continuous, dynamic process requiring constant effort, marked by prayer, love, grace, mercy, and forgiveness.
Constant tending.
Exactly. Couples are called to fall in love again and again and again, consciously remembering the why, the original reason they chose each other, the divine spark that brought them together. They need to intentionally bring their whole selves, their whole relationship before God to keep the passion, keep the enjoyment in their sacred bond over years and decades. It's a continuous, beautiful journey of rediscovery and unwavering commitment.
That profoundly encapsulates the full wisdom of the text, I think. It reminds us that intimacy, both human and divine, is not a static state, but an ongoing journey requiring nurturing, intentionality, and a deep, abiding appreciation for the profound gift it truly is. It's about perpetually remembering the why and allowing God, the ultimate engineer of love, to fuel and sustain that passion throughout the entirety of life.
Wow, what a deep dive into Song of Solomon chapter 4. We've journeyed through an ancient text that fearlessly celebrates human intimacy with a profound, unashamed passion, painting this picture of physical beauty and exclusive union designed for unparalleled delight. It really pulls back the curtain on a truly stunning and often misunderstood aspect of God's creation.
And we've connected this beautiful human experience to the even deeper, more consuming passion of God for his people and our corresponding spiritual yearning for him. It's a powerful reminder that intimacy, both physical and spiritual, is a sacred gift. It's meant to be embraced, cherished, and openly understood as central to our human and divine connections.
But this deep dive has also sharply exposed a significant challenge: the pervasive discomfort and silence surrounding this topic in many religious settings. Our sources make it unequivocally clear that this silence creates a profound injustice. It leaves individuals unequipped, misinformed, and tragically vulnerable to distorted worldly views that actively pervert what God made exquisitely beautiful.
It fundamentally encourages us, I believe, to re-examine our own comfort levels with discussing God's explicit design for intimacy and to actively seek out a comprehensive biblical understanding. This text is quite literally a song of songs because it perfectly encapsulates the highest, most integrated form of love. It's a powerful, liberating reminder that true love, whether human or divine, is meant to be wild, consuming, and deeply integrated, body and soul.
So here's a provocative thought for you, our listener, to mull over. If God engineered intimacy with such intricate detail, such profound beauty, and such unbridled delight, how might openly celebrating its biblical design not only radically transform our marriages, but also ignite and deepen the very passion of our spiritual lives?